Okay, we're live. Hello. Hi, good morning, Amy and Jaclyn.
Good
How are you
morning.
guys doing?
Good morning, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, it's a little bit of after evening actually.
Good evening.
Yeah, yeah. For you guys, it's like 10 a.m. For us, it's 6 p.m. Plus, there was like that time difference, daylight savings,
Yeah.
right?
Thanks for staying late to
Yeah,
work
of
with us.
course.
Chat with us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would like to check with any of the calls that we would get from like North America. Did you guys get your coffee yet? All good caffeine intake. Amazing.
Yeah, is everybody awake?
I
Good.
just got my
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes like when I do these webinars and there's like that time difference, it always feels like a radio talk show when morning with Jude at music guiding. But yeah, thank you so much for joining the webinar today. We love having our users join us to give us a little bit more insights, some best practices, and we would love to understand more of how you guys have been using user guiding because it is an extremely versatile tool. The opportunities and possibilities are endless with creating any of like the onboarding and adoption announcements support, and it just covers all over the place. um, so I want to thank you for that. And for now, just to give a little icebreaker, so I was asking you guys this like a couple of minutes ago. When you first starting working with SecturaFAB and Stella Source, because it is in the like metals and manufacturing industry, you guys provide a SaaS platform for these companies. Was there anything super new and super specific that you learned from when you started working there as opposed to your past experiences?
I would say absolutely. I think everything I learned. This industry is amazing, and it's so full of knowledge. I mean, just thinking about how the machines work, how much math and everything that goes into this. It's like it is definitely. I don't think I still learn something new every day. I don't know if you can say the same, Jackie, but it never stops. So yes, I would definitely agree that I learned
100%.
all the new
Yeah,
things.
I didn't know anything about the metal industry before. And I think in our office it's probably a split, maybe 50-50 of like metal experts and then like people that are experts in their other area, and we kind of meet in the mind meld. Um, but yes, I didn't know that there was so much to know about metal. And you really need to understand all of that before Amy can market it or I can design something to do with it. And so um, it was really just throw us in the deep end, and what can we absorb? So it's been pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I can imagine just by you guys explaining it, it's just like a hub of like engineers. It's just like a lot of engineers. Am I correct, or would you say it's like a very like, you know, a variety of different backgrounds?
I think it's a big variety. I I think we're probably about a third of the company's engineers, but there is a big variety of, I think even a lot of the non-engineers, like if you are a metal expert, to Amy's point, there is so much math and things you need to really think about regarding the type of metal and the thickness of the metal and what is the pounds per square foot, and like uh, it's crazy. Like I think if I
Was
were back in the seventh grade, and I
yeah.
asked my math teacher, like, what do I need to know math for? I'm gonna be like an artist. And they'd be
Yeah,
like, well, this.
100%. And it's amazing too, and it definitely influences with design, with marketing, with product marketing and customer marketing, because it helps you really understand how the customers operate, because they're dealing with so much every day. And so let's keep our messages simple, let's keep them to the point, because they're moving and they're not stopping. So you have to, it definitely influences how we do our jobs.
That's crazy. Is there anything that you guys learned that came handy outside of like work when it came to like metals or like the math part as well?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm not sure how to answer that. I don't know. Probably. I just haven't realized it yet.
Innovation. If you went to like Home Depot, then you're like, oh no, probably this type of metal would work better than something like
Oh,
that. But
yes, I would definitely say we have those moments. Even with my husband, he brought up, I can't even remember what the story was. He brought up something and I was like, oh, let me tell you. And was able to spout off some knowledge.
awesome. So Jaclyn and Amy, you guys are with Stella Source. It is this very, as you said, kind of lead a platform company in the manufacturing and metals industry. Can you give us a little bit more information about what you guys do in your company, what your company is about, and what kind of services you provide? You can take the mic.
Okay, I'll kick us off. So, hi, I'm Jaclyn Ciringione. I head the design team, and so we really are defining user experience for the Stella Source ecosystem. That consists of a couple different applications, and we are a very collaborative team, and we are really just trying to think about intuitiveness and usability and how to make our customers' life better. I have over 20 years design experience, including working with big data, workflow tools, data visualization for B2B and B2C. And I use all of that to help understand the pain points of every stage of the metals value chain. So some of the things I think touching on your last question, right? We're like from nesting to quoting to bidding and sourcing. And really our goal at Stella Source is helping customers reduce time to quote and accelerate time to money. And Amy, maybe you can introduce yourself and then we'll talk about our platforms.
Definitely. No, so thanks. I'm Amy Owens, and I am I'm handling product marketing and customer marketing, I would say, over here at Stella. I've got about, oh my gosh, over a decade of product marketing experience. So definitely happy to be here. And yeah, my goal with Stella is just to, just like with any product marketer, is to really understand the audience and bring the messaging and the positioning in a way that really makes sense to them and brings them the value that they need. Same with Jackie, with the uncovering what those pain points are. And yeah, speaking to that.
Awesome. Thank you guys. And who would you say are your primary users? Now, I know you guys have two different platforms, right, that you've integrated user guiding with. Can you give us describe to us what these platforms are and who the primary users are for these?
Yeah, so I think if everybody just like literally look around your desk or where you are right now, right? Metal is everywhere. It comes in many different shapes and sizes. So as small and as simple as like a piece of inside your pen or a garbage can, and as big as an entire building or your car, right? And so every single one of those things starts with some company wants to create that and sell it. And they need to get quotes on how do I source that material and then how do I get it into the shapes that I need to put it together and sell it. And so all day long, metal companies, their inboxes are just getting filled with quote requests. And Amy mentioned before, like on the actual processing floor where they're producing the metal, it is cutting edge technology. It is multi-million-dollar machines that cut within 0.0005 like of an inch of what you need. But the way historically that it works for the sales team is everybody's got their own secret sauce. And so there's not one way to quote a thing. And they really keep that very close to the vest. And so how can we help them to stop using a pen and paper or Excel spreadsheet and really give them the tools to stick with the way that they are doing their secret sauce, but just help speed that up for them. And so we have two platforms. One is SecturaFAB and one is Stella Source. And SecturaFAB is an enterprise platform. It's been around for, I think, since 2014. And it is really, if you think of like a Formula One car, you sit down in the cockpit of a Formula One car and you're like, I know how to drive, I know how the steering wheel works, but what are all of these buttons? What are all these controls that I have? And it is really very customizable, again, back to the secret sauce of I might only use these 3 buttons and someone else might only use these 3 over here, right? I'm just going back to the analogy of the Formula One car. And so how do we really give everyone the ability to do what they need to do, but not make them feel overwhelmed? And that is where my job comes in. And that is also where user guiding helps us out. And then on the other side of Stella Source is really, I heard from a customer one time that before they started using SecuraFAB, every morning their team would come in to the office and they'd open their inbox where everybody sends their quote requests, and they'd have a backlog of like 100. And a lot of those were from the day before and the day before that and the day before that. And after they started using SecuraFAB, that backlog was now down to 5 or 10. And so what that means is you actually are able to make more money and win more jobs. If you, like, it's probably the biggest pain point would be if I think of somebody spends like a day and a half working through, how do I fit this piece of metal? How many, they need 1,000 of them. How do I fit them on the sheet the right way to cut them to maximize the metal? And then we now need to do all these other processes. So this is a whole ton of math. And then after a day and a half, okay, I've got it. I send the customer the price. And the customer says, if you had sent me this 2 days ago, you would have won the job, but I already accepted somebody else's offer. I'm so sorry. So now you've not only wasted time, but you also lost the job, right? And so that is the thing we're trying to close the gap on. And Stella Source will help by all of the small things, the garbage can, the piece inside your pen, 1,000 other things. But if it's something simple enough, can you use your secret sauce and kind of automate it a little bit? Can you have your customer go to a white label e-commerce site that you have stood up that uses your secret sauce and immediately gives them a price? And then they can buy it or not, right? So that hasn't wasted any of your time. And now your shop's open 24 hours a day. So it's really 2 sides of the spectrum. They do kind of the same thing if you're really high level. They're helping the sales team to quote, but one is really for the more complicated pieces and the other is for the simpler pieces.
Which is the SecturaFAB.
SecturaFAB is the complicated cockpit,
Yeah.
and Stella is the white label e-commerce site.
Quotation type. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, e-commerce platform, definitely. And they, like Jackie said, they're 2 things. They're serving different needs, but it is the whole goal, I would say, for Stella Source as a brand is we're really trying to remove that friction from the buying and selling of metal for our customers. That's what we're doing. And we're going to help you drive that revenue and gain that efficiency, whether it be through automating, helping you quote faster, estimate faster, or whether it be just helping you get out there and sell easier. Because you're getting a new digital sales channel with our e-commerce platform. And I know a lot of us are probably like, e-commerce isn't that new. And it necessarily isn't, but it never fit for this industry. And so that's been our main goal is, like Jackie said, in the Formula One car, there's all the pieces in the cockpit, right? Like traditional e-commerce platforms, they can't fit that. They can't use those. So that's
why I could never.
Exactly. That's what we wanted. We wanted to make it fit, finally work for metals. And so, yeah, that's our goal. And just, help not change anything they're doing, just make it easier and just, bridge that gap so that we can, help them.
And as you guys were saying, especially that example that Jackie mentioned of like having like that small piece of metal in your pen and all, like I'm thinking, man, there's like so many things going on. You need, as you said, like really specific tools to make them happen. Where, as like in my day-to-day life, I wouldn't consider. But if I was in this industry and if I was like thinking of a way of, what is the best way to bulk sell, for example, pieces of metal, and then how do I calculate that? How is the shipment and all of this? Then yeah, it's going to require a big infrastructure of a platform to kind of fit my needs. And as you said, like I don't want to waste time with doing quotations where I'm supposed to, for example, like provide and sell and look for more leads.
Yeah.
So I love that. And as you guys mentioned, the two different platforms, they have different maturity stages, right? One of them is more mature than the other. How do they differ in terms of user behavior and onboarding needs?
They're pretty opposite, I would say.
Yes.
So like you're thinking, like Jackie was saying, SecturaFAB, you're having all the complexity, right? You have all of the different pieces in the cockpit. I just keep using this analogy because I like it. But you have all those things, and so it's a lot. And like Jackie said, you can get overwhelmed quickly because you can do so much with SecturaFAB. And so we definitely needed user guiding to kind of help. Okay, this is your big world. Let's focus in on what you need. So whether it's this use case, whether it's this, we need to be able to get you what you need and help you understand it. And then with Stella, it's, our whole goal is intuitiveness. It's simple, but it's how do I surface things to you? Because you're busy, you're working all the time. So how do I surface things to you and get in contact with these customers without, in the best way possible? So let me hit you while you're in the app. And
that's crazy because you can definitely, but one of them is you want to tailor a specific, it's a specific use case, right? Which is like SecturaFAB, where okay, this is the part where you want to kind of look at or like accomplish these tasks. But in the other one, it's a pretty simple overview of a platform where you also want to simplify the, I guess, engagement between like the user and the platform, where they're able to kind of create the quotes and make the process easier. Very
and
cool.
I would say in SecturaFAB, and a thing UserGuiding helps with is probably about a couple of years ago, I would say it would take about 6 months to onboard a company. And that is because we needed to customize everything. And that is really not scalable, right? And so it's how do we lessen that? And we've got that down to if we have a motivated customer, a couple of weeks. And UserGuiding's been a big help there where we have actually, I think the next slide where you had with the checklist. But there is things that our CS team really works in a white glove manner with the customer. And then in addition to that, while you're onboarding, we can make specific training for you in how you would use the product. And so that really helps them to get that muscle memory of these are the things that I want to do, and also to sort of start on their way to being a super user. And if you also think about, you have a whole team of people, they're working in this platform all day long, and now they get a new team member. How does that person learn it, right? And so the user guiding really helps with all of that, and so we can really target it to that specific person or this specific domain or this group of people. And so we are really using it in a niche way for our customers in this platform. In our other platform, Stella Source, it is meant to be very simple and intuitive as they're going through their day-to-day there, but the settings and the things that they may want to control are not places they're going to go every day. They may go once a year or a couple times a year to, let me tweak this one thing. And so you kind of have to expect that it is the first time they're seeing it, or because they don't remember, because it's so infrequent. And so that is where it really comes in on the Stella Source side is we recently added a banner to the top of the page. It's kind of out of the way, doesn't bother anybody, but it can be there forever, right? So every time when I seldom go to this page and I don't remember what I'm doing, I can click to launch a guide, or I can click a button to go to the resource center and kind of read about it just to get a little refresher. And so user guiding is really helpful in that it has all these different tools. And actually watching your previous webinars where you kind of go through, Jude, the like, here's our new stuff, and you actually show how to implement it, has been so helpful for us. We go back and watch those and like, oh, we need to implement something for this, which tool should we use? And then go back and watch your webinars, like, oh, this is the perfect one. And this is how you do it. Great. So those are really helpful. So keep doing those. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm blushing. Yeah, I mean, like, I love how fast you guys implemented the banner as well, because we just released it, and it does look pretty native, and the design looks really amazing. But we'll go through those in more detail. Like, I'm super stoked about that. Before that, I wanted to maybe understand a little bit more on what challenges or problems you guys were trying to solve initially, and what led you to actually looking at a digital adoption tool. Was user guiding the first option? What were you, yeah, like, what made you look for a tool like user guiding initially? So let me just add there we go. So what was the problem that you're trying to solve?
I think from a couple different directions. So how do we help our CS team to lighten the load of tickets that they're getting? And then I think more specifically from my design seat is like, we can actually release a new feature quicker because, just bear with me, like in an ideal world, I wouldn't need user guiding at all. I would have all the time to make it as intuitive and perfect before we release it, right? But that is not reality. We want to get, it is better to get something to the customer faster that is not 100%, maybe it's 90%. And we haven't guessed at all of the bells and whistles that need to go with it, but we can get that feedback once it goes out, right? And so it is still building something that is usable and releasing it and getting it to market quicker. And maybe we use user guiding in that realm as, here's how you do this new thing, because maybe it's not exactly connecting the dots 100%. And then we take the feedback after people have been using it for a little while, and now we can kind of smooth it over and get it finalized. And so I think it is a nice tool from the UX side for that. And I can get actual user feedback faster and less guessing. But it really, I think some of the bigger pieces were, we only have web applications, so like mobile, that doesn't matter to us. So I didn't want to spend extra money on a tool that can do mobile things. And the biggest factor was that it's no code. The reason we can get things out to market faster is because our engineering team and our product team are working on specific things. And so if they need to work to get a tool implemented, we might as well just do the other piece of the work, right? Like, so this is helping the rest of the org be able to kind of carry some of that load. Those are two of the bigger ones. I also really enjoy the way that it integrates with our chat tool. So we use, are we using HubSpot for that, Amy?
We're about to switch to HubSpot, yes. Yeah.
But like those, yeah. But like those both live on the screen, and just kind of all of the product updates and the other things, it's just a nice little tucked away in the corner. And then it can kind of launch into other things. We also recently moved over to your resource center for our Stella Source app. I would love to ask for a feature request from you guys, which is,
oh yeah, for sure.
I would love to be able to have 2 different themed resource centers.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. But we migrated that over from a different resource center tool that we were using. And it was, I actually did it myself in about 45 minutes. We didn't have a ton of articles in Stella Source yet, but so it was.
Did you mean the knowledge base or the resource
knowledge
center?
base? Yes, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, yes. I think you call it a resource center, but it is
I mean, I totally get it because last week also the terminology is very similar.
I use them
Um,
interchangeably. Yes.
I know it took
Same.
me a
It's
while to get
Sorry.
used to
yeah,
it,
it's in
but
release center. Yeah. But I think that's part of why we liked it is Jackie and I were looking at it. We were like, oh wow, everything can just be in the same place. We don't have to link out to a Zendesk page or
Mm.
anything. It's all there. It's very easy. We love the fact that you can link the guides to specific articles, and that everything is just in one place, and it just makes it easy for customers and easier for us for sure.
That's awesome. So the initial pain point, Jackie, if I were to reiterate, was you guys had, some new features, some new changes that you had on the platform where you wanted people to actually you wanted to nudge people and let them know about it. And then if they wanted to kind of take those actions, and you didn't want to take any of the developer side, but you also wanted something that was easy to implement and you're able to customize however you want. Right. So I think that was like the initial uh, pain point that, or like challenge that you were trying to solve. But then now that I'm seeing, all the material that you've created, I want to know more about, how else did it develop into this like onboarding platform and like announcements and banners and, you know, um, the research center, as you mentioned. So maybe we can go through that. So just how you're able to implement user guiding and just walk us through, what does it look like inside Stella Source and SecturaFAB?
So what does implementing it look like?
Oh no,
Is that what
yeah.
you're-
So like right now, like on your platform, like what kind of tools do you have implemented? So as you mentioned, you have like the onboarding checklist, right? So for this checklist, how do you use it? Did you choose, how did you choose the guides within it? And I saw that you have the banner as well, so this way, like it gamifies it as well. So was this, for example, like the initial checklist that you've created? Did you change it later on, and how was the interaction with it?
Um, so this is where I think in this particular one, I think like
Hmm.
the metrics are a little deceiving,
Yeah.
because we are actually using this for one company that's onboarding at a time.
Mm.
And so yes, we probably are changing some of the things company to company. I think these are really like the standard ones. And that's kind of like why that is set. So like
Mm.
new customer comes in, they're onboarding, we kind of turned it on for them.
Mm.
And then once it's done, cool. And then next customer that's onboarding, and it's not one at a time, but like, so it's really just as they are in that one step of the process, here's some things you can do that just get you familiar with the application and navigating it. Um, that's not part of the training time that our customer success team is spending with you, where
Mm.
we can actually spend that training time on the important things, not the setting up your company details in our site. Right. And so it's a little bit helps to give them the keys to the kingdom.
Yeah, it's tailored specifically for like each company. And so this lives on SecturaFAB, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Do you have something similar as well on Stellar Source?
We
We're
don't.
actually
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying we're actually in the works. We're trying to. It's a pretty easy implementation process. So we're throwing around some ideas on and more of just like like Jackie said, just to get you to know where things are. And so that's what we're kind of coming at it with that one. So it's in the works. We're trying to really, just like with any of these, what we're trying to do is really dig into and do some research with the customers. Where do they get stuck? And with the CS team, okay, what takes you the longest? Because that's what we're really trying to figure out. And that's what we want to implement in these guides. So we're in the process of kind of doing that research right now to figure out what would make the best steps.
Mm. And what is like as you said, like the most efficient way to like reduce the time that it takes for them to like set it up as well. And plus you don't want to have the CSM, to walk them through it manually one by one, like a, teacher student type of thing. But it would be much better for both parties if you were to have something like this where it's easier for the user to get familiar and navigate it themselves, without any pressure of, just clicking right through, but then also you're saving time from the CSM. So I think, yeah, that's like one, I guess, benefit that, I don't know if it was like, was it like an unexpected benefit that you guys received, or what? It was also like intentional, right? Where you wanted to save that time and, touch
Yeah,
on
I
those.
think that was one of the just probably the most kind of transparent reason for us to
Mm,
start looking for user guiding. And then it was, what are all the other awesome benefits that we found along the way, or the other things that we implemented. There is a guide. I don't think I had sent it to you as one of these samples, but because SecturaFAB is so verbose, a lot of the feature requests that we get, if we like pull on that thread to what is the root cause issue you're trying to solve, but customers like to give us solutions, right? And so if you pull on that thread a little, a lot of the times it's something that already exists, but it's just not part of their normal workflow.
mm,
They don't know that it's there. And so we will be able to kind of get what is the target audience, or what do we think is the right group of people that would be interested in this thing. And then we make a little user guiding, and like, on like a Monday morning, they'll log in and they just see like, hey, did you know that this button does this? And that's it. And then they go about their day. And we probably do those probably once every couple of months. But it's kind of like like releasing a new feature, but we're
yeah.
not. It's just that it's been there and they never asked about that thing to us, or so it was not something we had called out. So
And how long does it take you to create these little navigations announcements?
a
I
couple of
think,
minutes.
yeah, the most is me just trying to figure out what I want to say. So, just doing that work, because linear CAD, once again, like we talked about, that's not something I just naturally know what that means. So it's me like, talking to the product team, talking to Jackie, and being like, okay, let's get down to the value. Now and then let's do it that way. They don't take long. I think that part's the part that takes the longest.
And a piece of advice I would give that I never follow is you should a little bit map out what you want to do first. I don't do that. I just like jump in, and then it's a couple of reworks of, wait, that flow doesn't make sense, which is just gives me a little more hands-on practice with user guiding, which is also fine. But I think if I were to spend 10 minutes thinking about what I wanted to do first, like user guiding guide 1, start here, and then 2, 3, 4, right? Just kind of map it out in my head and have a plan would be a word of
Yeah.
advice.
Yeah, for sure. What works for me as well is like I'm like you, Jackie. Like I would love to just like get into it and be a little bit even like creative with like the wording and how I want users to see it. But then after I finish it, I would like to like I share it with one of my colleagues, and then they would give me feedback about that. Like for example, like this is a little bit too wordy, or like how about we add an image here or there? Just like as back then we used to have like proofreading, but now it's like proof guiding, basically. So that seems to
Trademark
work as
that.
well. Yeah.
But yeah, these pop-up modals are, I would say, probably one of my favorites, because we can, whether it be for a new feature release, a new update, or like Jackie said, just thinking about it from a product marketing standpoint, what are the other tools that people just aren't using, and what can we drive more usage on? And so these are a great way to use these. And I would say too, it was when we're thinking about it for SecturaFAB especially, we have a few different channels. We implemented our quarterly newsletter, and so they're going to see it. But it was just that another way to really reach them, just to really drive home and show them what all we can do. And because there is so much, and it's a great tool. So that was one of the reasons I loved it, and I was excited when I got here for user guiding, because I was like, we have to do some sort of in-app communication, and here we go.
Yeah. No, it's very cool. Like marketing 101 is basically, you have to like know how to communicate. You can have like the best tool, the best solution in the world to solve everything. But if you're unable to showcase it and just communicate it, then no one's going to use it. So
You don't know it's there. You built it, and it's yeah.
Definitely. And we were talking about this platform, like the contrast platform, and we didn't know like such a platform existed either until we saw it somewhere, and now it's like we didn't even know like such a tool exists as well. So in the same way for you guys, it's like user guiding would also like make your life easier because you heard about it, and you're using the new tools, the new announcements, and that we've been sharing. So yeah, amazing. Efficiency and saving time and communication.
Definitely.
Awesome. So you've been using, yeah, as you said, like the new updates here. And for the CTA, usually what do you guys add? So when you say like check it out, is it like a guide or does it take them to a different URL?
This one should take them to the actual page with the linear cat on it.
Nice. Okay. And for this one, it's a webinar banner. How was that performing? So the banners, the announcements, yeah, like any feedback on like the performance of them? Did you get any registrations, for example, this one? And when it comes to the analytics, do you cross-reference, for example, any of the feature adoption and the banner viewers?
This particular webinar got like, I think 6x more people attending than usual. And we generally will have more people watch later, as I think most webinars, when they have some free time. But a lot of the feedback we had been getting prior to this banner was, oh, I was really interested in going to your webinar, but I was just like neck deep in work and I didn't realize what time it was. And you sent me an
Yeah.
email, but I wasn't in my email. And so this was kind of just a couple days before we just had that up there and they could dismiss it. But and then we had a little pop-up that came like a few minutes before it was going to start that it launched. It was like, hey, the webinar's starting if you want to join. And we did have, I think we had like 40 something live people, which is a lot.
Yes, that's a
In the
decent
middle
number.
of the workday. Yeah, and then so it was pretty great.
Also, did you find any specific kinds of announcements that worked best for your audience in general? So would it be like new features or announcements, or like was it like the events? Which one would you say? And are they like showing to all audiences, all users?
I don't know for sure. I would assume that the pop-ups, just the modals, probably get more engagement than a full guide, but that's just me guessing. I don't really know for sure. So we need to look into that.
Yeah. Oh, good. And then you guys incorporated the new banners as well. And so this, as you said, it just lives on the top, or are they able to dismiss it? Or
Just
what kind of setup do you guys have for it?
yep. So it is purposefully not dismissible, so that most people they come to a page and they just dismiss everything that they can. But it is out of the way, and I think that is a thing I found. I like that this banner can work in conjunction with the guide, right? So that first button on the left, if you clicked it, it launches into a guide. If the guide had just launched automatically, they're still trying to orient themselves on the page. And the first thing they would do is dismiss it, right? And so we have found we get better metrics if we do this, and it's sort of like compound the two things together, because then when you are ready to look at it, you click it. Or if you don't want to look at it, you don't, and that's fine, right? But it's always there if maybe you're spending 5 minutes on this page and you're like, wait, I'm a little confused. Let me actually click into this now, right? And so it's here, it's tucked away on the top of the page. It's not bothering you, but it's here when you need it.
Yeah.
So
Last week, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, so yes, sorry. So I think I really enjoy these banners actually. I know they're new, and so maybe it's the new shiny object for me, but I think I want to try to not overuse them, and kind of like really just pay attention to when is this the best thing. I don't want to have a banner on every page, and then everyone becomes blind to them. So
Yeah, I mean, you were using the modals before, but the difference is it's literally as you said, we planned it to be like non-disruptive. So we don't want it to interrupt that user experience or that workflow that they're trying to achieve. But then again, you know, as you said, maybe there's like a feature or a functionality that they're unaware of and they kind of need that help, or they just want to explore, like they finished the task or the action they were planning on doing when they logged in, but then now they see there's something that would trigger their curiosity. So it's disruptive and interruptive. But then you have it also connected with a guide, right, as you said. So it goes through these different steps, and you even added like a hyperlink within it as well. So what's this specific guide?
So there are multiple sections on this page of things that you can do. And so this is talking about like in this first accordion section where you can do this step, here's kind of an overview of what that is. And then you can click that hyperlink and it'll take you to a knowledge base article, which is a bit more thorough in the explanation. Same thing here. I skipped a couple. There's like
No,
3
it's
or 4 of
okay.
these on the page, but and this is the last one. But so
Yeah.
as you're going through kind of each section of the page, there are specific articles for each one of those things. But at the top, there is also a more overview kind of article. This is how to orient yourself on this page and all the things and controls that you have here. So
No, yeah.
yeah, it's kind of 3 user guiding tools in one. So it is the
Yeah.
banner, and again, the thing to your point, it just pushes down the content of the page, and so it's not blocking something that is like real estate that was needed. And so that's why I think it's, to your point, it's non-invasive. It's kind of just in the background.
Exactly.
That links through to the guide, and also the other button link through to the resource center. So
Nice. No,
I feel like I'm now seeing the matrix when it's like I can use user guiding in all these different ways together, which is very cool.
exactly. No, it's like like the Power Rangers when they become like this one like giant um ranger, but
Yep.
it's a lot of, I would say there's a good chunk of our like customer base as well of user guiding users that they're unaware of the way that the elements and the tools work together, right? That creates this like really great user experience, but they're unaware of it. And the way that you have it here, where it integrates we have the banner and you have a connected guide within it and then a hyperlink, and then as you said, like it would also take them to an article or open the resource center, but then even within the resource center, right, so we have it here, you have different elements where they're able to explore even further in case they need assistance, and then beyond that you've also like did you integrate the knowledge base as well with the resource center?
Um,
I mean,
I think they're the same thing, so maybe not.
oh yeah.
If we haven't yet, I think we're planning on it. So
Yeah, you probably did, because it was one of our like oldest features as well, where when you integrate the knowledge base within this resource center, in the search bar of the resource center, whatever they type, it pulls up the results from the knowledge base articles, and they're able to see it within the resource center as opposed to having them, taking them to a separate page. So it's also something that, because it becomes like a little iframe window, just in the same way that you guys have created the product updates page. So the way that you've like integrated everything is, not only does it look like an amazing user experience, but it looks native, the same like with the design and the way that you have it. Honestly, like kudos to you guys for that. This is one of the best that I've seen so far, and you've integrated lots of amazing tools within it as well. So amazing. And when you guys, because I know you've been with user guiding since it's been like 2 years, and I know it's been a journey of trial and error, testing what works. You guys have new tools, new announcements. In the initial process, how do I rephrase this? How would you say, how would you describe, the initial implementation versus, as opposed to like how you have it now? So in the beginning, what did it look like, and what were, the steps did you take to make it what you have right now?
I'm not
I
sure what it
think,
looked like in the beginning. Yeah, I was gonna say I'll shoot it to Jackie first.
I think in the beginning, because we were able to theme it ourselves, and so I think it was a little bit, if I were to self-criticize, our team, like I think we little kind of overstyled it. There was like too many colors, and like it's okay for things to be white. And so I think we have kind of toned it down a bit, and I think that also goes with the maturity of our brand, which is really kudos to Amy and team. And it's like we really understand what things in our brand need to align or be, it should be this color, or let's not use orange all the time, that's a highlight color. Things like that. And the other thing we try to pay attention to is, yes, and thank you for all the kind things you said about like it is on brand, it looks like it fits, but there are times where you want it to be glaringly obvious, and then there are other times where you want it to kind of fall into the background. And I think it is now a group of us that kind of work together, from design, marketing, customer success, product, to kind of everybody kind of has a seat at the table, and we're talking through these pieces. And I think that has been helpful to make it more cohesive.
Definitely. Because I think we saw it wasn't just for onboarding. It wasn't just for one thing. It was, wow, let's make this a cohesive, like Jackie said, make this a cohesive experience. And so yeah, I think that's really our goal.
Nice.
Is just how do we talk to our customers simply and get them what they need in a better way.
Yeah, I know like multiple teams have a say in how user guiding would look like, or what you're able to create, or let's say announce and communicate with your users. For your team, what was the user guiding feature that stood out as like the biggest one for you guys?
For me, I was obsessed with the product updates page because, as a product marketer, I want any kind of way to talk about, either whether it be new features or what we're doing, release notes. I don't particularly like release notes, but I make them a little bit more fun so we can do it. But that was what was exciting to me because, you always want, you see any of the resource centers like on the website for other SaaS companies, and it's, you have your product updates section and you have this whatever, but it's a whole, you have to get up a whole new, page for that. And so what I liked is that I can have this in the app, easily to update, but I can also add it to our footer on our website and have it public. And so it was just, I didn't have to go in and have engineering build us a page and, do all the things. And so that was one of the things that I loved the most, as you can tell. And that's why we did it really quickly. So.
Yeah. And I think I don't have anything super new over what Amy just said, but like the way that it integrates with the other tools that we use, like HubSpot, Zendesk, etc. It just made it so that it just feels better and they can access everything from one spot and kind of launch in. It doesn't make our customers confused about where should I go for this versus this other thing. And then they're on like a wild goose chase. And so it's nice that it's all in one spot. And the bigger or biggest selling point for me was the no code. I can get in, or anyone on the team that has access, we just get in, build something in a couple of minutes. Occasionally we get stuck and we meet together and it's like, oh, you missed this one little thing. Here you go. Right? There is never a time where we can't do it. And then if there ever is, we have our CS rep from UserGuiding who has been, I will say, incredibly responsive. So that's been pretty great.
Yeah, you've become super proficient at user guiding, I would say, based off of the the screenshots that I've seen. And finally, for any other manufacturing or industrial SaaS platforms that are similar to yours, what advice would you give them about getting started with user guiding? For example, like where should they begin, or is there anything they would avoid, or are there any quick wins that have worked well for you that you think might be implementable for them as well?
I think all of it is just kind of dive in, don't be scared.
Yeah.
You don't have to publish it if it doesn't work well.
Yeah. And just, start with that initial process of, okay, what's my first goal? What do I want to do? Is it reach more customers quickly? Is it help them with onboarding? Just really kind of be strategic in what you want to do first, because there is so much you can do with user guiding. And so what is the most important to you?
Awesome.
Let's
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's amazing having this conversation with both of you because Jackie, you're in the design part of it, but Amy, you're in the like product marketing side of it. So both of them, you guys like work really well together when it comes to creating the perfect, I would say, like announcement, what to announce, how you want to communicate it with your users, and yeah, like it's so far it looks like you have a very solid onboarding and product adoption, experience on Stella Source. Is there? I had a question in mind, but it slipped right now. Yeah, is there anything else that you guys would like to share? Any final comments?
Really, I love your tool, and so it's been a great experience, and we can't wait for what else you guys push out. So excited to continue to see your innovation.
I think like if there was like a keyword, I would say empowering is it for user guiding. Like it empowers us to push things out day of or even within the hour. Like if there was recently there was like the AWS and a bunch of other data centers or whatever the issue was, where like globally some things were slowing down, and we were able to just kind of push a message in a quick banner to everybody like, hey, we're on it, whatever, right? Like, so just so they're not in a panic, like what's wrong. So, and that was the thing that we were able to do in like 30 minutes. Right. And so I think it is a tool that's almost like a Swiss Army knife. And if you just kind of think about it with an open mind, you can find more and more uses for it as we keep doing. So thank you.
I like the Swiss Army analogy of it. Usually the way that I would describe user guiding is it's like Lego blocks. I've used this analogy so many times. It's like we give you the Lego blocks, but you're able to create endless, experiences with it. And the way that you've created your experiences as well looks super nice, really cool. And hopefully, as you said, like as we add more features, you guys will be able to kind of grow that user guiding ecosystem within Stella Source as well. And just based off of your feedback with the multiple knowledge base that is coming up very soon. So we're on the same frequency for that. Jackie, Amy, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure. And hopefully, we'll be in touch again, and maybe next year we'll have you again in another.
Thanks for having us.
No, yeah, likewise. It's been very fun, and thank you for inviting us on. It's been our pleasure, and it's been great getting to know you, Jude. So thank you so much.
Likewise, Jackie. All right, see you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.